This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Tim Blake, the CEO of Hydrogen Future Industries. Thank you very much for your time again. Tim, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. Getting there.
Good. Well, it's good to be speaking. I know we spoke back in January. We got a bit of an introduction into the company where you want to produce green hydrogen from wind, but also lots of use there in the mining industry to help turning wastewater to make a feedstock to generate clean energy and clean water to power mining operations. So I want to get a bit of a catch-up, if we can, on what's been going on in the business. Of course, some of the recent news there is the raise of £545,000, which of course the directors took part in as well. And from reading that piece of news, I see the funds are used for the ongoing feasibility study within the mining sector and to further develop the company's existing technologies. So, I mean, first of all, how is the appetite for the fundraise? And then we can talk a little bit about how you're going to deploy them, what you're working on.
Yeah, the fundraise went exceptionally well. The sort of stage is now the feasibility study, where the money's essentially going, is really to try and confirm what we've been working on for a number of years, which is focused around the use of the system within mining. So that's obviously sort of taken a life of its own. When we started developing the processes connected to mining, hydrogen wasn't so popular as it is now. And the uses within mining sort of speak for themselves. So that's going very well. So hopefully the feasibility study goes as we want it to. I see no reason why it won't, then we can get on with the next stages.
Okay. Could you elaborate a bit more on this use of the system within mining and using that wastewater? Could you actually explain the vision, what the process sheet, the flow sheet, so to speak?
Yeah, it's quite a simple system when you break it down into its pieces. So we use wind energy. We have our own wind turbine technology and IP. We've been developing for a number of years. That's very efficient. And the way the system works is the turbines develop to fit within that system. So we use wind to create the energy, which we supply to our electrolyzers to convert the wastewater. We have a process just before the electrolyzer size that cleans the water to a standard that's allowable within the electrolyzer, so it'll work. That then converts the water into hydrogen and oxygen, as any electrical process or electrolysis process does. Or both of those, actually. Quite often people will just release the oxygen to be used to supply electrical energy through fuel cells to the mine.
Okay, yeah.
The reason we retain the oxygen really is it improves the efficiency of the fuel cell if you're putting pure oxygen in. So we use basically 9 litres of water for every kilo of hydrogen that's created. And then every kilo of hydrogen that we use to create electricity gives us back 9 litres of pure water. So within a mining world, we tick several boxes. We can provide green, cheap energy. And at the same time, we're cleaning and providing pure water without any net use of water. Which is a concern to mines around the world, especially the company that we're collaborating with, which is one of the largest mining corporations.
I noticed that in the RNS there. I guess you can't name the name, but is it fair to say is it a household name?
Yes, I would say anybody who knows anything about mining probably knows this company.
Okay. And are you able to talk a little bit about how you're working with them, or how much involvement they have, or the interest that they're showing? Any further details without giving anything away?
Well, the first stage, we've been involved in the mining side for a number of years, and we're located, our development site's very close to the mining location where we're going to be doing it, where we're developing the turbine. It's up and running, has been for nigh on a year now. The use of the ground, the supply of the tailings that we're extracting the water from is being done through the mine. There's several other things that will come out as soon as we're officially allowed to announce it that will make a lot of sense to people. But it all fits in with what you would hope to do at a mining site. With mining accounts for a huge amount of the energy consumed on the planet, 10% of energy, in fact. So there's a huge amount to clean up there. And quite often mines are in the middle of nowhere. Getting power to them and energy to them is not cheap. And quite often we'll resort to the likes of diesel generation for electricity. So their emissions are exceptionally high. They also use a lot of water. So there's a lot of areas within mining where the current operations are frowned upon. Our system, we realized some time back, and we patented numerous things around it, is that we could take those negatives and turn them into positives and make a mine self-generating, in effect, create their own energy from their own waste, and eliminate one of the biggest factors in operational decisions, which is the cost of power.
Well, yeah, you mentioned it there. I mean, of course, mines need energy. They need a lot of energy there, and a lot of them use that water for the process and going through the flow sheet. Is that water then? Is it unsafe to go back into the environment? And with your system, what would normally happen? Would it be stored? Would it be cleaned using traditional energy and then put back into the environment? But with your solution, it cleans and then turns it into usable energy, and then of course back into water. So it's a closed loop sort of thing. But what would, if you could give an idea of what would ordinarily happen with this wastewater, and then obviously we know how HFI fits into that system.
Right, well, ordinarily you'll have a combination of things. Pretty much all of what you said that goes on in the mine. So firstly, the waste from the mining processes goes into the tailings.
Into the tailings dam, or the storage facility, okay.
And they remain a hazardous area for years and years and years. And where we are in Montana, I know there's over 8,000 tailing sites alone that are contaminated, that are seeping into the environment. And you've got all kinds of nasties that come out into that. So reducing tailings is a kind of aim of probably all mining companies nowadays in the present climate. So it's taking the water from that. So they'll try and reduce the solution down to a solid if they could, because then it's easier to manage than if it's a liquid. You're not likely to have a dam burst that you see occasionally happening and spreading out. So what we do is we extract the water out of that solution. So we're effectively sort of dehydrating the tailings, I guess, by taking the water out. But a mine uses water every day. It uses it as part of the processes. So it's taking as much of that as we can. So not all the water goes into the tailings. A lot of water will be reprocessed to put back into the environment, whether it be a river, groundwater, whatever. So what we do in reality is we're taking one of those steps out almost as part of our process to clean these things, whilst providing energy at the same time. So it's sort of win-win. And the energy costs on the back of that as well are, I would say in probably 80-90% of cases, less than what they'd be paying for electrical power now. So it's sort of a win-win-win almost.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And you also need that wind turbine as well in order to make the process happen. So is that a limiting factor with places that perhaps low-lying or have not so much wind moving through?
Yes and no. I mean, the system actually, because one of the unique features of the turbine is we use a hydraulic drive system, and it's a system we patented some time back, and that provides numerous advantages over the current system of a generator and a gearbox in each turbine. It means it's easy to plug the turbines in together, and it also means that the generators, so So in our case, if we're producing hydrogen on site, we go straight to DC power, so there's no rectifiers and the like involved. And that plugs direct into the electrolyzer there. So it reduces costs, improves efficiency. But it also means with the drive system that it's easy to plug in other forms of energy. So we can connect solar, we can connect hydro, we can connect diesel. I mean, whatever you like into the system. Far easier than if it's an electrical system where you have a big difference in power. It's hard to balance. Not so much with the hydraulics. So yes, I suppose if you're somewhere where it's right on the equator and there's no wind, it would be tricky. but again, the nature of our system is the turbine actually it's what we call ducted, so it sits in a shroud. So we accelerate the air through the turbine. So it's doing twice the wind speed, 2.5 times the wind speed by the time it's applied.
Okay. But in theory, you can use wind, solar, or even hydro. I mean, could you even use the flow of water coming from the dam, for example, as a source?
Yeah, you could really. I mean, we've looked at that in the past, actually, utilising the water through the pipes through a series of sort of internal turbines.
Okay.
There's a lot of uses. The wind, though, is key for the cheaper energy. The wind, certainly the areas that we've analysed around the world, I guess, predominantly have enough wind.
Okay.
The particular group we're dealing with, it'd probably be 60-70% that we'd be fine with. Others we needed stuff on the side of.
Okay, I see. Okay. And in terms of how you would sell the solution, let's say, I know we talked last time about licensing. Would you be looking to license to partners who would then sell a package that would include all the technology and installed on site?
Yep, pretty much. The system can supply whatever it needs to do. It's just a case of size. So we can do a small system that's good enough for light industrial farms, even houses, and then you can ramp up inside. It's completely modular in its sort of construction as well. So it's easy to add to. So you can increase power as time goes on. And also, one of the other things that sort of should be approached really is mines are looking to go to being electrified really. So the vehicles, the equipment all being powered by batteries or whatever. There's issues with that, not just the actual amount of lithium you'd need, but in terms of how you charge those systems on site. 43%, I think it is, of the energy consumed by mining is consumed for the diesel, for the equipment, for the trucks, the excavation, etc. So that's a lot of additional electricity you've got to run to that mine. And in most cases, that's going to be new cabling at $6-8 million a mile, or new generators, diesel generators. So actually producing the hydrogen on site in large quantities eliminates the requirements to do that. You can either charge them straight from site, or you can look at different technology for those bits of equipment.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Lots of scope potentially here then. So we have to wait a bit more to find out some more details on the feasibility study. Any idea when, and in the meantime, what are the team working on in the background?
Oh, well, nothing stops, unfortunately. So the development of the turbines are ongoing, and the electrolyzer side, we've got some collaboration partnerships that we've signed in the meantime. So that includes with Bristol University. There's another one we're doing where the system will be used for providing or generating hydrogen with nuclear power stations. So we've got a collaboration going on there with some huge names in the game. So there's a lot going on. The mining is a focus, but the system can be utilised for all kinds of things. So.
Right. Okay. So you're working on developing the technology for systems for a broader use. And in terms of that feasibility study, have you got an idea when it might be completed?
Yeah, I'd expect news to come out within the next couple of months. So I keep thinking that, but it's in the next couple of months, I would expect. Right. And the feasibility study would be completed again, probably within a 3-month period, I think, from where we are now.
Okay, good. Well, thank you very much for giving us update today. Tim Blake, the CEO of Hydrogen Future Industries, and let's catch up again soon.
Thank you. Take care.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.